Tonight, a child predator is on the run, and investigators are looking for that key piece of information that could help find him.
10 on your side spent weeks putting together this special report. Our goal, to get as many people watching as possible. And in a coordinated effort, 6 NBC stations throughout the region are sharing our story tonight with their viewers. Isle of Wight Sheriff Mark Marshall has said it all along. Someone out there knows this guy. He gave our own Erin Kelly unprecedented access to this case with the hope to bring this man to justice. He joins us now from the nerve center of this investigation. Erin?
This is where they need those calls to come in, and we have cast the net wider tonight, sharing everything we know with our affiliate stations in D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. The Sheriff's Office has not held anything back. They have walked us through these attacks that have shaken and puzzled this community.
911, where's your emergency?
My daughter was abducted, potentially raped, and they returned her. She was going to the school bus stop.
4 hours after sending his daughter off to her school bus stop in the Brookwood subdivision of Carrollton, a frantic father learns she hadn't made it there at all.
She told me that a stranger drove up, said, "Get in the car." She said no. She was screaming at the top of her lungs.
Sheriff Mark Marshall says the case is chilling.
He didn't just pick her up, he snatched her.
He's older with blue eyes, blonde hair, and a thin blonde beard, brown glasses over a face full of freckles, a slow talker, but investigators say he may have changed his appearance. After the abduction, the victim says he covers her in a green blanket inside a 2-door silver Chevy Cavalier like this one, with black and gray interior and a cracked windshield, model year 1995 to 2001. It's just before 8 a.m.
I mean, this is neighbors all around, houses all over the place.
Somebody must have seen something.
That's why we have been perplexed right from the very beginning.
The young girl was covered when she was first abducted, but she recalls the feeling of the car going across 2 bridges, which logically it's the Chuckatuck Creek and the Nansemond River.
So these markings here, this is railroad tracks.
She's talking about going over railroad tracks, and these are just indicators of where railroad tracks may be.
The victim says the car stops. Once she can see, she remembers an abandoned brown wood-framed 2-story house. It has a collapsed wall, a sofa, and discarded HVAC units in the backyard. There's a nicer house across the street, white with red shutters and a gray roof, a fence around the backyard. Investigators say the man sexually assaults her and then lets her sit up in the front seat.
After the first attack, he said that she was going to be all right. He said that his wife, he indicated that his wife had gone, when she was younger, had gone through a similar experience and was okay.
It's now about 11 a.m. The suspect is lost and rolls down the window to ask a sanitation worker in Suffolk for directions near Quaker Drive.
He said he initially thought that it was, you know, it was a father-daughter in the car, and the girl did look scared, like maybe she had missed school.
The suspect crosses the state line and turns around at Tar Heel Barbecue in Yor, North Carolina. The victim remembers him asking a construction flagger for directions back to Suffolk, then turning on to Iron Mine Springs Road.
She mentions passing the Isle of Wight County Fairgrounds, and once they pass the fairgrounds, she describes turning onto a gravel road.
Investigators say the man took the victim back here in a remote part of the woods, and she remembers seeing some animal bones right near where the man attacked her a second time. The victim remembers 2 key things inside the suspect's car. 1, a clay sculpture the size of a pendant that she's been able to draw from memory.
She even describes it as if it was made by a child. So somebody's seen this item other than our offender.
And she remembers a green lunch bag that looks like this, but more worn.
He did say that he was missing work.
Finally, the victim says the man drops her off near home, where she calls her father. Sheriff Marshall says when his office finds him, they will be able to prove what he did.
We have evidence that has been scientifically tested, that is very clear, that will show conclusively the individual that was responsible for this attack.
We've also learned this tonight from investigators, that the victim has looked at pictures of persons of interest but has not been able to make a positive identification. We also know that investigators are processing evidence right now, but again, they have not made any arrests, and that is why your call here to this call center is so important. Live in Isle of Wight County, Erin Kelly, 10 on your side.
Again, our goal is to get this story out to as many people as we can. If you missed any part of Erin's story, it's all for you on wavy.com.
And that includes extended interviews with the sheriff, and we have a couple of phone numbers for you. If you know anything that can help, the first is 757-365-6290. You can also call 1-800-CALL-FBI and email tips to iwus.net.